Jai Shri Ram. Kartikeya, Skanda, or Murugan, or Arumugam. That means he who has six faces. Shanmugam, six faced. Arumugam, six faced. So Kartika. So let us learn about the origin of Skanda. Senaninam aham Skandaha. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. So in the Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, 10th chapter, 24th verse, Krishna says, Senaninam aham Skandaha. So Krishna himself is Murga. Now what is the origin? As usual, every Purana has a different version. So, and some of them are so lusty and arousing all kinds of lustful desires. I will not go into that. Eh? So let us take something which makes some sense and has some spirituality too in it. So the Skanda Purana, which is the biggest of all Puranas, the Skanda Purana is the biggest of all Puranas. It has about 84,000 verses. So Shiva was married earlier to Dakshayani, known as Sati, the granddaughter of Brahma and the daughter of Daksha. Daksha never liked Shiva because Shiva is always begging for food and lives in a graveyard, and his body is smeared with ashes, and he is the destroyer. He has no possessions, no house, no good clothes also. He wearing snakes, symbolizing detachment, but disliked by Daksha. So Daksha insults Shiva in front of Dakshayani in the Daksha Yajna, and Dakshayani self-immolates herself, unable to bear the humiliation. And the Shiva's wrath is aroused, and he destroys the Yajna, creating Veerabhadra from one strand of his hair. So now there is a demon called Taraka. Now this fellow, he did tapas, and Brahma appeared in front of him. What is the boon you want? This fellow used all his creativity, and he said, give me the boon that only Shiva's son will be able to kill me. The logic behind this boon was Tarakasur thought that, see, already first marriage itself of Shiva was conducted with great difficulty, and Dakshayani jumped into the fire. She actually self-immolated, Yogagni. She did not jump into fire. She created fire from her own body. So Taraka guessed now that Shiva cannot be married again, and so there can be no question of Shiva's son, and therefore thus he will become immortal. So the Brahma said, okay, fine, you can only be killed by Shiva's son. And Tarakasur thought that this will make him invincible. But you see, there is lateral thinking all the time. In the Puranas, we are taught lateral thinking, critical thinking, vertical thinking, fantasy, mythology, everything, history, geography, logic, ethics, morality, spirituality. Are Baba. The Puranas are informal universities. Every Purana is actually an informal university. That is why people in olden days, in their evening, they used to sit and listen to the Puranas, and they used to acquire knowledge on so many disciplines. So now the Devas went to Shiva and tried to convince Shiva, okay, please get married here. That fellow Tarakasur is creating a real headache. He's become a nuisance. So Shiva is not going to yield, he is a tapasvi. So he goes on and on. So finally the Devas ask Manmadha, also known as Kamadeva. So they ask Manmadha, please do something. So Manmadha goes and dances there, and Manmadha's wife is Rati Devi. She dances, she does something like an item number dance and all that. So finally Manmadha is shooting some arrows, flower arrows. You must have seen that. So finally Shiva is shaken out of his penance, and he sees this Rati, and Shiva's lust gets aroused. And the Devas are all very happy. They start clapping. Thank God this guy is now going to get married. So finally they get Shiva married to Parvati. So Parvati, and then Parvati and Shiva have an offspring. Okay, that becomes Kartikeya. Now, in the meanwhile, Shiva was terribly angry with Manmada because Manmada spoiled his penance. So Shiva opened his third eye, and a huge Agni catastrophic Agni completely destroyed Manmada. But Manmada fell at Shiva's feet, and Shiva said, "Okay, we'll take care of you." Somehow Manmada was resuscitated later. But this Agni was uncontrollable. So this Agni was handed over to Agni Deva, to take care of Shiva's Agni. So Agni Deva also found it too hot to bear. So he took this Agni, Shiva's third eye, Agni that came out of Shiva's third eye, and gave it to Ganga Devi. Ganga originates, in that glacier, Gangotri. So Agni told Ganga, "You please keep it somewhere near some glacier." So Ganga tried, and finally she also felt it was unbearably hot. So she hid this Agni in a forest of bamboos, shara is the Sanskrit word. So bamboo forest, and because it was a vana, yeah, it is the forest, Sharavana. Shara is bamboo. So he became Sharavana. He was born with 6 faces. So all the tributaries of Ganga were involved in this work. So several faces, and so he acquired 6 faces. So 6 women also saw him, and they fed him. So he became Kartikeya, Shanmuga, and finally he destroyed Taraka. Hmm? And as he is a youthful savior, he is also called Kumara and Skanda. So interestingly, actually, he receives his weapon is the spear, veil. So there is a slightly modified version here in the Skanda Purana itself. It is said that actually what happened was, how did he get 6 faces? So Shiva let out a stream of Agni from his third eye on his forehead, which split into 6 streams, because he wanted to cool down that Agni. And this Agni landed on 6 different lotuses, and the lotuses transformed into babies. And the lake came to be known as Sarvana Poigai. So 6 women called the Kartigai Pengal. In Greek mythology, they have Pleiades, Pleiades. Now, Pleiades in astronomy is a group of stars, 7 sisters. So, Greek mythology also they have this story. So, Kartige Pengal, they took each of these babies and fed the baby, nursed the baby, and Parvati came onto the scene. She united the 6 children into a 6-headed child, because she was unable to cuddle all the 6 of them together. So she decided to do something very creative. So finally, Arumugam or Shanmugam, literally, which means one who has got 6 phases in Tamil, he was born. So Kartige festival is there, Thai Pusam festival is there. So Tamil communities worldwide celebrate the birth of Skanda. And finally, on this day, on his birthday, he was also given a vela, lance, a spear, by his mother Parvati, in order to vanquish all the demons. And so Kartikeya acquired great popularity. And as I told you in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says, "Yes, I am Skanda." Skanda himself. Skanda is my Vibhuti. Jai Shri Ram. And in fact, in Indian history also, you have 2 great kings, Gupta age, the golden age of the Guptas. That is the golden age of Hinduism. 2 of the Gupta kings were Kumara Gupta and Skanda Gupta. They were named after Kartikeya. So Murugan, Skanda, Kartikeya, Arumugam, Shanmugam all mean the same thing. They are actually Krishna's Vibhuti. And Kartikeya married Valli and Devayani, 2 deities, Devasena, and she was the daughter of a tribal chief. And so in some legends he is called Kumaraswamy because he is a bachelor. So Murugan rides a peacock and wields a bow also in battle. His lance is called Veil in Tamil Nadu, Veil Murugan. Dandapani. Pani means hand. So Parvati gave him the veil, and this veil embodies Parvati's energy and power. And the flag of his army depicts a rooster, Shura Padman. In the war, Shura Padman was split into 2 and was granted a boon by Murugan to become the peacock and the rooster. So in Tamil Nadu, you have Sendil, include Sendil, the red or formidable one, Arumugam, six-faced one, Muruga, Guha. So all these are names. So there is a difference, in the northern version and the southern version. In north, in Sanskrit epics and Puranas, they say that he was the eldest son of Shiva. But in the Shiva Purana, he is seen helping Shiva fight the newly born Ganesha, Shiva's other son. In north they consider Kartikeya the elder, and in south Kartikeya is younger, and sometimes this numbering is also changed. So actually, in the northern version of the Shiva Purana, Kartikeya joins Shiva and fights Ganesha because Ganesha blocked Shiva's entry into the house. You know that story, na? But in the south, in which case, in the northern version, Ganesha becomes the younger son. But in the south, Kartikeya is considered the younger of the two. And in the north, Kartikeya is considered a bachelor. Whereas in the south, he has married. He has married and he has two wives, Valli and Devayani. Jai Shri Ram.